Reality is subjective. Our understanding of reality is just the way our minds adapt to the plethora of sensory information. The model of our surroundings, based on that information, is usually a welcoming, hospitable outer shell that protects us and accommodates our minds. It is one of humanity's greatest strengths that allowed it to survive and prevail for thousands of years. However, it is also a great vulnerability. By altering the process of perception and injecting false information, we can make the brain create a completely different model of reality, which may or may not be possible under normal circumstances. I would like to briefly present an installation exhibited at the Reshaping the City Art Festival in Cetinje, Montenegro. The installation exists in two parallel universes, one which we can see and feel with our usual means of perception, the other changed, altered slightly, visible only by means of technology. A technology that allows us to play with the understanding of our reality and enables us to present thoughts and ideas in more dynamic and rich ways. Augmented reality is a concept to incorporate visual and auditory changes to what we see and hear, hence the name Augmented Reality. If we augment the senses, we augment the reality. In our case, we work to create a representation of a memory that can take you back in time and produce a sense of function and life in an abandoned collapsing structure in the middle of a beautiful city. All you need to experience this is a phone or a similar device with a camera. The camera and the screen then becomes the added layer of one's perception and model of reality. The implementation itself presented a number of challenges. First of all, mapping the real house and its elements into the simulated reality. Over 100 photos were taken in order to make sure that any point within the house, the augmented reality application can calculate the exact position of the visitor. Because the structure is small in size and the required precision is very high, GPS or similar means of location estimation were not feasible for this purpose. Therefore, the application relies completely on visual tracking alone. The visual part of the augmented reality, the extension of roses hanging above the visitor's head, presented its own unique challenges. The idea was to have as many petals falling endlessly from the roses as possible to give a sense of life and animation. Usual means of rendering such image and particle effects were not satisfactory because of handheld device memory and graphical memory limitations. The solution was to use a similar technique that GPS satellites use to communicate with other satellites and Earth. Due to very high speeds, GPS satellites experience time dilation because of effects of relativity. Therefore, communication timing cannot be fully trusted. The solution is to use a pseudo-random number generation algorithm in order to generate exactly the same sequences of numbers every time and in a predictable manner. The number sequences depend on the initial value set to the number generator called the seed. In the case of animating particles, like rose petals, a similar technique was used by assigning a unique seed to every object. By tracking time flow, this way we can easily calculate the position, velocity, rotation, and angular velocity of every petal at any point in time. The advantage of this is that it requires virtually no information to be stored apart from the number of objects in the particle stream. Additionally, it allows us to dynamically change the amount of objects. Rendering 100 or 1,000 objects is just a matter of changing a variable that controls the count. All information is still derived from the pseudo-random number generation algorithm, so some objects can even go in and out of existence temporarily, but still continue moving in space. This provides us a great flexibility to adapt the application to phones and devices of different rendering capabilities. A more powerful phone will easily render more particles, and the experience will be more profound. However, phones on the weaker side will still be able to present the images and animation, just in smaller numbers. If you have a chance, I urge you to download the Festival app that contains the augmented reality functionality and visit the installation firsthand. Let your mind be taken away, let your model of reality be altered, changed, and augmented for a while.